Everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 16 Pro and compare it against the iPhone 11 and see which particular iPhone is a better one for you. Now, I think everyone probably knows that the iPhone 16 Pro is a far better iPhone than the iPhone 11, but it's still very interesting to kind of see these sometimes and see how they compare and kind of see how much improvement has happened in the last couple of years. If you want to at any point pick up some of these iPhones I would recommend buying this year though, links will be down in the description for the cheapest prices I find. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now starting off with the outside, the iPhone 11 on the front side of this particular phone is basically giving you a 6.1-inch Retina IPS panel on it. This was one of the last iPhones Apple made from their main lineup of iPhones with an IPS panel, and it's definitely an outdated panel. It's like 750p, you have the notch up top, doesn't get the brightest 60 Hz panel, really thick bezels around it for today's standards, but it's still a functional display. It still looks pretty good, and if I was on a budget, I don't think I would really be complaining about this display that much if I wasn't comparing it against the other iPhones that are better. If I was, then you can definitely tell there's some differences, but it's a good functional panel, but it definitely is an outdated panel when it kind of comes down to it. And this phone is like 5 years old now too, which is kind of crazy. The iPhone 16 Pro, on the other hand, is the best panel, but it's also significantly more expensive than the iPhone 11. The iPhone 16 Pro on the front is basically giving you the Dynamic Island 6.3-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. So it's an LTPO display, OLED display. It's also 120 Hz, and it gets so much brighter than the iPhone 11 as well. So this is a pretty big advantage, I would say, for something like the iPhone 16 Pro. Just having that type of capability in and of itself, I would say, is a really big advantage, and it's such a beautiful display, and I'm such a big fan of this type of display when it comes down to it. So the iPhone 16 Pro definitely better on the front. The sides are relatively kind of built around the same, so they're not like, one doesn't feel way more premium than the other one, but you do get the flat sides on the iPhone 16 Pro, which is better. Action button right up here on the iPhone 16 Pro, which is nice. Nothing at the very top. The bottom also has another big difference. The iPhone 11 has a standard Lightning port, which is great, but the iPhone 16 Pro is giving you a USB Type-C port, which is amazing. Having USB Type-C is really, really cool, and I, for one, I'm a massive fan of having USB Type-C on an iPhone, and you are getting that on the iPhone 16 Pro. On the other side, the iPhone 16 Pro is also giving you the camera button right here, which is really, really cool. These iPhones are just giving you the power buttons, but having a camera button I think is a really, really nice thing to have. On the back side, you're basically getting a dual camera setup on the iPhone 11, which is really cool, and the iPhone 16 Pro is giving you that triple camera setup with a LiDAR sensor. You are still getting a really good feeling phone on the iPhone 11, like it still feels fairly expensive, but the iPhone 16 Pro has this frosted glass back, which is that type of styling I like a little bit more than the iPhone, with standard glass backs. MagSafe capability on the iPhone 16 Pro, wireless charging on both, IP certification on both as well, but definitely if you're looking at both these phones, the iPhone 16 Pro is probably going to be the iPhone that is probably going to be the significantly better one in almost every single way. So if you're looking at which particular iPhone is the best one, this is the one that I definitely look at as probably being the better ones in almost every single way, to be honest. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. Now in terms of which iPhone is going to last the longest in terms of software, the iPhone 11 is on iOS 18 right now, which is really cool, but we're not really too sure how long this iPhone is going to last, right? There's a very high likelihood an iPhone like the iPhone 11 might be done within iOS 18, so it may also end up on iOS 19 as well, but I don't think it's going to go up to iOS 20. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong, but I think iOS 19 would probably definitely be the way the iPhone 11 will end off at. The 16 Pro, literally just getting started with software. This thing is going to get, so many more years of software updates. So if you're wanting the longer lasting phone, it definitely is going to be the iPhone 16 Pro as well. So let's go and make our way over to a speed comparison now. The iPhone 16 Pro has that Apple A18 Pro chip inside of it with 8GB of RAM, with the iPhone 11 has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4GB of RAM. So let's go and see which one's a faster phone between both. Okay, there we go. Let me go and adjust this a little bit more. And now we are in the speed comparison. All the apps are clear in the background of both. Phone calls 3, 2, 1. Totally messed up the first one, so let's go and screw that one. Music 3, 2, 1. And iPhone 16 Pro definitely faster there. iPhone 11 a little bit slower. App stores 3, 2, 1. And not the biggest difference there. Scrolling through, you can definitely tell, in my personal opinion, scrolling through, the iPhone 11 definitely is a little bit slower at loading, but also when you actually go through and see the scrolling speeds, it's so much smoother on the iPhone 16 Pro. Hopping out of both, let's do mail 3, 2, 1. Okay, 16 Pro again is a faster one. Settings 321. And even in these basic applications, it is a significantly faster experience on the iPhone 16 Pro. Clock 321. Again, same exact thing. We do have some third-party applications we can test out as well. So let's do Netflix 321. And iPhone 16 Pro again is the faster one. iPhone 11 a little bit slower. Thank you 321. And with this one, iPhone 16 Pro again is the faster one. iPhone 11 a little bit slower. Getting into the actual comparison here, looks pretty good. Hopping on about these, Snake versus Blocks 321. And with this one, the iPhone 16 Pro again is the faster one here. Getting into the actual speed comparison of the game. There's usually some glitches in the beginning but both are looking pretty good for the most part here. Let's go into Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. Now with this game, again, I love this game. It takes a little bit long to kind of load into it, but even getting into all these splash screens and everything, it is a significantly faster experience on the iPhone 16 Pro. And this is just for the loading speeds. Imagine all those times you're playing certain games, you're going through and loading up a game, in-game things too. It takes a lot of time when you go and, look at both these games, like the amount of time that you're going to save in your life by going up to the iPhone 16 Pro, not having to worry about glitches and all that stuff. It's a pretty big deal in my personal opinion. And when you're actually loading these types of games up, that's when you actually start to kind of notice it for the most part. 3, 2, 1. So overall, if you're trying to get the faster phone here, in almost every single way, the iPhone 16 Pro is going to be faster, it's going to be smoother, it's going to be better. Twice the amount of RAM and that ProMotion display makes and feels things, when they perform, it makes it feel so much faster and better in almost every single way. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. Now from the camera side of things, there's also a little bit of a difference here as well. So both phones are giving you that, camera setup. So the iPhone 16 Pro is giving you that triple camera setup, 11 dual camera setup, 4K at 60 on the front and the back of both. But you are getting 4K at 120 frames per second on the iPhone 16 Pro, which is really cool. You're getting way more modes on the iPhone 16 Pro as well. The 16 Pro is definitely a way better camera, but I think the iPhone 11 still does a pretty okay job for the age of this phone. If you go and kind of look at it, you are getting 5x zoom here, still getting 0.5x zoom on the outside, which is nice. Getting video mode, slow mode, time lapse, portrait mode, and panorama mode. So there are still a lot of good modes with a phone like this, which is genuinely very, very cool. It's not a perfect camera though. There's obviously like a lot of issues that can happen within this type of lens. And it's a good camera though. There's not really anything super insane going on here. With something like the iPhone 16 Pro, I feel like this type of phone is also, it's a good phone, right? It's a great camera, and this is pretty much the best iPhone camera you can basically get. So this thing, you're getting 25x zoom on the inside, and you're getting 0.5x zoom on the outside, which is a really nice amount of zooming in and zooming out that you basically have. You're getting video mode, which is nice, cinematic mode, which is an improvement, and the iPhone 11 doesn't have it, slow mode, time lapse. You're also getting the spatial mode as well, the iPhone 11 doesn't have, and panorama mode both these phones have. But definitely if you're trying to go and get a phone that's going to be the better camera, it is probably obviously going to be something like the iPhone 16 Pro. This is such a solid camera when it kind of comes down to it. So overall, if I'm being honest, the iPhone 16 Pro is an amazing phone. I like this phone a lot. It's giving you a better display, the camera button on the side, camera features overall, the better feeling phone, MagSafe capability, USB Type-C, dynamic island, faster phone. Like this phone has every single thing you'd ever want in an upgrade. I think the iPhone 11 is an okay phone for a budget device, but I probably wouldn't recommend buying it, for your main device anymore. If you want to, what I'd recommend doing is buying phones that are in between these. So I think the iPhone 13 is a very solid phone in between. I think an iPhone 14 is a very good phone. Or you can even buy an iPhone 13 Pro or 14 Pro and save a bunch of money and get one of those types of devices too. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that'll mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I got you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.